Well, around that time, you and Avril Lavigne were in a relationship?
So I was working with her.
It's how it starts every time. Huh?
It's how it starts. I mean, listen.
We were in the studio working on a song.
Well,
long hours.
I live and breathe this.
Just the two of us.
I'm a workaholic, so I'm just. This is all I'm doing. I really don't have much of a social life or hobbies. So yeah, in an era where like I might be single, I might be in with somebody who might be of like there's a mutual kind of chemistry. That type of thing can happen, because you're just working and working, like, one-on-one and that kind of stuff. So, it's, yeah, I don't want to speak too much on that, but yeah, I mean, it was, it was definitely like, yeah, we did a lot of songs together and, formed a bond and a friendship during that time.
Why'd you guys break up?
I just think it was a little bit of a temporary thing. You know how it is. Like you meet somebody, there's definitely there's amazing things about them. Again, she's incredibly talented. Like it was amazing doing songs. I think at the time I'm like, hey, I'm a workaholic. On paper, the best fit for me is somebody who understands my career, a singer, somebody like this. At that time, I was also like, wow, she's super talented. She has her own thing. She's far from a gold digger. She's, like she's a mega like superstar. I like that idea. But I think ultimately, I'm probably best like my girl now. I like somebody who's not like maybe in the limelight. Like I don't want to come back home and just talk about like, music. I want to zone out and watch Seinfeld with somebody. That's what I want to do. So I think I was probably just not cut out for somebody who's like really like in the industry limelight for a long-term kind of thing. I mean, it was cool. It was, it was chill, but it kind of ran its course.
Well, over the next couple of years, 2020 and 2021, you sold Beluga Heights to Sync Music Group. I
guess so. Yeah, I did. I mean, Zach was integral in that. Man, you know more things about me. Like
I know everything. Well, and then next year, Music Bird AG acquired your song catalog.
Yep, that's correct.
Right.
You don't have my home address, I hope, right?
I do actually. I live under your floor.
We're neighbors, actually.
We are neighbors. How big were these deals? Because I had heard that the Sync Music deal was 8 figures. Which could mean a lot. It could mean 10 million. It could mean 99 million.
Right. Yeah, that's a huge range. That's a huge range. Listen, I don't necessarily want to like speak on that. I'm very blessed that I was able to, do that, to sell that catalog. I think you might find other people who may have had less songs and less hits than me. Like my catalog at this point is in about 1,000 songs, somewhere in that thing. It's a lot of songs. Maybe some of those have been done post-pandemic.
So did you sell that whole catalog? The whole 1,000 songs is now owned by other companies?
Up until that point. So everything that I've created since then is not part of that.
Right, and I just want to say,
and that's just that's the publishing, not producer.
And me and Zach, we worked on music deals together also, which ultimately didn't. Well, not music deals, but YouTube deals that were similar to kind of this type of thing. And I just remember that during this time, 2020, 2021, there was like this huge rush of these companies that are buying out catalogs. And during that time, people were just getting way more than they used to get offered before. So a lot of people, it wasn't just you.
Yeah.
Everyone was selling their catalogs because suddenly you're getting 2-3x what you were getting a couple of years ago. Why not?
Yeah.
Like how long would it take you to make this money back organically as opposed to just getting this huge check up front?
That's true. But I think there was even, and maybe it was more about the economy why those things were high, but I know that there were songwriters who were like slightly before my era, where before streaming, where they didn't even have that many hits. They had a couple album cuts on those CDs that sold a lot. And some of those people like caked up like you would not believe. Like they retired off like a couple album cuts because the money and mechanicals and physical CD sales is on a different level than streaming. So that's not exactly the point you're making. You're saying in that era, these companies were kind of overpaying. But I will say this, those companies know what they're doing when they make the calculation. They don't lose money. And the company that bought my catalog, because certain songs get synced after the fact. Like, oh, that old song, became a bigger hit because they used it in that thing, and replay just became everybody's playing it on TikTok and all this kind of stuff. So those companies actually have already, I think, like recouped, or I just know that it was a very smart investment for them, and they function like banks, right? They know that, hey, we're going to give you this money now, but we're not in this to lose money. Over time, it's going to generate more than the check that we cut you. And that's definitely the case in my catalogs. So yeah, I mean, listen, I was lucky to have that happen. I will say some of my big hits had samples, as you know. So there might be people out there, like when Pharrell writes a song like Happy, he owns 100% of that song. Beautiful Girls was 25% split amongst 3 writers. Yeah. Just as an example.
Is he like 8%?
Yeah. So I have a lot of hits that don't have samples, but I also do have ones that have samples, and you're going to make less per that song if there is a sample involved, or if there's many writers. Nowadays, even if there's not a sample, sometimes you'll see a song, there's like 10, 20 writers on it.
Look at the Kanye albums.
Yeah.
Every song got 15 people on it.
Yeah. So like, I don't even know how those people are getting paid. So listen, so I did pretty good. I feel blessed that I was in that position. If I'm being honest with you, I feel like there's a lot more that I want to do and that I want to accomplish. And the people that I looked up to that made me want to do this, they're on a different level, just even culturally and financially and all that kind of stuff. So there's levels to it. And I know obviously there are people who are looking at me being like, wow, that's amazing. And it is. But the people who inspired me, that made me want to do this, there's different stratospheres to this, as you know.